How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, man. How's things?
Yeah, not bad. Well, first of all, I think the main thing is obviously you kind of started my journey, which you maybe don't. Well, I suppose you probably do know that because I was probably the first person to like speak to you and obviously learn kind of about photography from you. So I suppose it's kind of the master and his apprentice.
Oh,
So now it's obviously good to get you on and have a chat and just I don't know. I don't really think I know much about why you started and why obviously photography is in your life type thing. If you want to give a little bit of background about you and why you started photography and when.
yeah. So kind of, I don't know. I guess I was always kind of attracted to photography. Uh, Ever since I got like my first like camera phone, like my Sony Cybershot or something, when it was
Yeah.
kind of first year at high school. Yeah, I just enjoyed taking the pictures and stuff. And then when I got to like 17, 18, I got like my first little like kind of like handheld digital camera.
All right.
And yeah, I just for some reason I always like taking pictures. You just always get them printed as well. I just think kind of like having your own pictures up on your wall and stuff was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, it was just something kind of progressed, kind of uh, fell out with photography like for a couple of years and stuff. And then like yourself, I just had no idea how to work like a proper camera.
Yeah.
And then one of my mates actually came out to Whistler to visit when I was living there, and he had like a proper camera. He showed me kind of how to use it and stuff because I had no idea. I was like the same as you, just like I take a picture and like 8 seconds would go past and then it would shut. The mirror would shut again. It would just be this
uh,
blur. And uh, and then yeah, came back from Canada and then I bought myself my first like kind of little entry level camera. And then yeah, kind of just took off from there. Just tried to learn as much as I could from YouTube and stuff. And then but yeah, I kind of wish like when you reached out to me, said like I've got a camera, I've no idea how to use it and stuff. Like I kind of wish I had something like that because
yeah.
like you can learn so much from YouTube and stuff, but actually like seeing someone to actually like take you through the buttons, kind of like answer some of your questions makes like a huge difference. So that was the thing. Like when you reached out to me on Instagram, said like can you help me and stuff? I was like, well yeah, like I'd love if someone had done that to me. So like I was more than happy to help. So
Yeah. No, I think it was one of those that obviously seen like because I had you obviously on Instagram anyways, and I was just seeing that you're putting stuff up, and I was like, I've got a camera just sitting, not doing anything. I bought it for college. I had to take photos of my portfolio and stuff, and I was just like, I need to do what you're doing type thing. I don't know, it just jumped out, obviously on Instagram, and I was thinking, right, what's the worst that can happen? I'll obviously maybe have a one-on-one sort of photography session with you, and then if I'm rubbish, like rubbish. I'll just sell it on. But I suppose I don't know. It was just you made it look so like simple and just made it so much easier to, like you say, you talk through all the buttons and that. And I think it was maybe I don't know 3 hours or something, or maybe out for, and it
wow.
just it's just having that person, like you say, to explain it in person, the questions that you have instead of because obviously when you're watching on YouTube, you're not getting the sort of answers to the questions you have. Um, so now I do think that it helped me massively, and obviously that's how I started. And I suppose this channel probably wouldn't even be a thing without you. So I better if I start making money, I'll need to give you some commission.
Like
But nah, it's
100%.
what. So what did you think? Obviously, when I was sort of out with you, did you because you had so much like patience, but did you enjoy that side, like sort of teaching people, or are you a bit kind of maybe reserved and revealing too much?
No, not at all. Yeah, like I really enjoyed it. Like my kind of all my employment, like I'm kind of like a sports coach and stuff like that. So coaching and like kind of helping people is something I've always wanted to do. I always remember the first time I came to your house and tried to explain things. I left there. I was like, "What have I done? I've just confused the guy. It made no sense." And then that's why I was like, "Right, let's meet up and we'll actually go down to like the river and actually show you how to use your camera."
Yeah,
Uh, and then yeah, no, I really enjoyed it and stuff. And I always think like there's nothing that I'd kind of like hide and stuff. kind of everything I've learned I've got from other people and stuff. So if I can pass that on, then kind of is for the best. So
No, exactly. Yeah, it is like a good way of thinking, and especially like you say, if you're doing it for your job as well, and it probably does come natural, but it's still it's still out of your sort of time. Like you obviously taking sort of time out of your life to come and help me out, and nah, it's amazing how much like I learned from you, and I still like pick up. Like I remember, I remember this is ridiculous, but I remember on the camera, obviously when I was taking the photos, if it was like a landscape. But then whenever I took a portrait, remember, it was just like stuck to the like landscape screen, and I was like this, and you were like, "What the hell are you doing?" And you were obviously you spend time like looking through, and then you just find the setting, boom, and then obviously when you turn the camera portrait, it flips the image, and honestly, it saved saved me getting a neck brace. But nah, it's even just wee things like that that I don't I don't pick up on because I'm just I don't know if it was just because I was so used to turning my head or whatever, but I just don't
yeah.
think outside the box sometimes, and it's you've definitely sort of helped, even just with camera like custom settings on my camera and me understanding my camera as well, and it's I would say you've definitely got more knowledge than I think you probably like let on.
Cheers. I don't know about that, but
No, I think you do. I think some of the stuff like you message me or and I'm just like, what are you talking about?
yeah, and it just makes it more enjoyable as well. Like
Yeah,
kind of like I was happy to meet up with you and stuff because I knew you since like school,
yeah,
and like we went to like Bamborough Castle and stuff like that, and like that was like it was so much fun just kind of being there for sunrise, just kind of both trying to get images and stuff, and kind of
yeah,
like I wish I had the confidence to kind of go and meet other photographers and stuff, but like I don't know, I guess it's quite like an individual thing as well.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely like something even from like kind of meeting you and going out with you and stuff like that. It's made me realize that like yeah, I should maybe reach out to a few more people and like go and learn stuff from them instead and things like that. So
yeah. Because like that's the thing, like you're not gonna learn anything from me. like at least the people I'm going out with are probably more experienced than myself, and I do pick up things that that have helped me out like massively, and it's kind of like even just seeing Chris, he's obviously got his drone as well, and just even seeing that and the photos that he gets with that, just different. It's just different perspectives, and it makes you want to get all the gear and stuff, and maybe you
yeah,
can't with like money and that, but it's just nice to see what other people get, not just obviously what you get.
no, no, definitely. Like that's literally like Instagram's been a huge thing for me because every time I like kind of scroll through in that, I'll find a place that's not too far away, and then I'll actually go and try and get like a similar shot, and then it actually just takes me to like that location. Then after I get a shot that's similar to theirs, then I'll go and explore myself and kind of find my own stuff.
Yeah,
But just Instagram's been a huge help because like I always remember the first time I saw like Kill Churn Castle and things like that, and I was like, wow, like I want to try and get that picture. And
yeah,
then I end up going there, getting kind of the same picture as everyone else, and then kind of exploring around. Got like quite a cool image from like trees and stuff that I'd never seen before, but just like seeing it on Instagram to start with kind of got me there as well. So
yeah. So do you like you mentioned there that obviously when you go to like locations and that you've maybe photographed similar to other people. Do you kind of like prefer obviously getting your own shots? Yeah, but do you almost like getting something similar to someone because it kind of shows the like let's take Thomas Heaton or like Nigel Danson or someone like that. If you can emulate what they're getting, does that kind of give you that boost that actually I'm maybe better than what you think you are, if you know what I'm trying to get at?
no, no, yeah, definitely, yeah. I always think like kind of every time I go to like a location, and you always get like kind of like the main like kind of money shot, and
Yeah,
because then it just like yeah, it makes sure like I know how to work my camera.
yeah,
kind of like you said, yeah, it gives you a boost. Like I can actually take that picture as well, and then
Yeah,
from there, I always like to find my own things. So once I get that image, I'll kind of explore around and stuff, and kind of scout for the next time. Maybe if I've kind of like if the sun's come up and I've got my picture, then I'll kind of use that time to kind of look around and say like, well, now that I'm at this location, I'll look for myself for next time. So
yeah. No, that's quite good. I think like one thing that's probably my downfall is I maybe don't put enough planning into things, and I take it, is that something that you like do? Like, do you plan like to the weather? Do you plan like the photos that you want to take? Like, you're obviously saying like the money shot type thing, but do you go in mind with maybe another photograph, or is it literally just get there, get the money shot, and then have a wander around? Or
yeah, so I'd probably say yeah, kind of every location. I kind of look around there and stuff. I use like Google Earth and things, but I'll always kind of try and work out where another photographer is taking that picture from. And then that's kind of usually the first thing I'll go to, kind of that similar location, take the picture. But definitely, like my biggest downfall in photography is I spend too much time looking at the weather, and if it's not like a perfect forecast, I won't go. And it's like it's terrible because like you sometimes get the best light when it's raining and stuff. But my little like entry level camera, like anytime I see rain, I'm like I'm not going out. It's but yeah, so like the amount of times I've looked at my weather app and it's like I've seen fog forecast, but the wind's up, so it's like 12 miles an hour wind, and I'm like, well, there's not going to be reflections. I'm not going and stuff. And then my alarm goes off at like 9 in the morning. I'm like, I should have went. Like, what else? Like, I'd rather have been out there for 2 hours than lying in bed for 2 hours. But so that's definitely something I want to improve at. Just kind of like force myself to go out a little bit more because I'm not going to get better at photography just kind of watching videos all the time stuff. Definitely going out and using my camera would make the biggest difference. So
yeah, no, I do get that. It's kind of like I do. I would say the weather's probably the only thing that I really look at, and I probably I'm maybe not as harsh on myself in the way that maybe you are in terms of like reflections and things. Like I'd maybe still go out, but then obviously that's kind of the shot that you want to get. So is like reflections in your photographs like one of the things that you like go for?
I sometimes yeah, it's more like I always look for like really like simplicity and stuff like that. So, uh, and then yeah, because I live in like the Trossachs, there's so many like locks and stuff like that. So a lot of the kind of pictures I see tend to be like reflections of the mountains and the kind of in the water and stuff, or like Loch Rusky with the boats and stuff. And I've tried to go there when it's windy and stuff, and it just kind of I always feel like unless it's like the perfect conditions, I just can't get the shot that I want. Whereas
Yeah,
really, I use that time still to go out and then kind of like explore and try like different angles and things like that. But yeah, it's checking the weather is definitely like my biggest fault. So
aye. No, like it is. It's like anyone, and especially landscape photography. You kind of like weather is like probably the biggest thing. Like obviously light as well, but um, no one really likes to go out in the rain.
yeah,
But nah, it's quite it is interesting because there's kind of times that well, the last time that we went out, I know we went round like Loch Rusky and things, and like it was quite still, but there just wasn't really much maybe light and stuff. And it's like although you've got one thing,
yeah.
if you've not got the other, it just sometimes doesn't work. But like I was looking at the Loch Rusky photos actually, and like I've not even put any up yet, and it was kind of I don't normally put stuff up in black and white, but I think a lot of people tend to kind of go black and white when the photo's maybe not that great. It kind of I don't know, it just maybe enhances it that wee bit more. So I was actually thinking about putting one of them up. And is that something that you've sort of experimented with, black and white, or not really?
Not really. I always try and keep things looking kind of like as natural as possible. But like you said, I've got one image of Loch Rusky that like I really liked just because like I did change it to black and white,
Right.
but I had like ropes and stuff, and it just like
Oh
I
yeah.
always feel like if you change it to black and white, it adds like loads of texture because
Yep.
there was nothing happening in the sky. Like it was pretty like misty and stuff, and I'd taken a very similar like picture in color before, but I thought like kind of black and white really brought out like the textures in the image.
Hmm.
And I like your Smailham Tower one you took not long ago with like all the checkers and stuff. That looked like absolute class in black and white. And
Yeah.
kind of when I saw that, I thought like, well, mate, like it is something I've tried to do a little bit more. Like about 2 weeks ago, I tried to get like the Wallace Monument in black and white.
All right.
Didn't really work, but like I gave
Yeah.
it a shot. So
Yeah. No, it's. I suppose it does just. I think it's one of those that I never really. I always think you should maybe just strip it right back to black and white and then kind of add the colour in after that. And there is sometimes I do that in Lightroom, but there's other times that I just get carried away because the sunset's that good or like the sunrise or whatever, and I just forget to do that. But obviously, if you do that, it kind of shows you it in black and white, so it might actually work better. But yeah, that Smailham Tower one, it was just the sky was like it had like a wee strip of orange, I think it was, along the bottom, but it just didn't really work. So I just thought checkered, black and white, can't really go wrong. But yeah, it's I don't know if it's the first black and white image that I've put up, but I think I'll start doing it more. I just experiment a bit and try something out. See how I get on with it.
yeah.
I take it. Have you got any sort of locations that you want to go to, maybe in the next month or so that you're looking at?
So yeah, I've always tried to do some like bluebell photography at this time of year,
Right.
but I seem to be like really unlucky. Like me and like forest photography just don't go well. Yeah, like it's something I always seem to struggle with. I've watched so
Yeah.
many videos recently, and it's saying like, yeah, you should use like a telephoto lens and stuff like that. And everyone's like, yeah, fog's always your friend and things like that. But yeah, for some reason, I just had no luck. And it's like part of photography that I've always wanted to explore a bit more. Because
Mhm.
anytime I see like some really good woodland photography, it's always like pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's something I've just never been able to do. And I guess it's kind of like my photography. I always look for like kind of like really simple scenes, and
Mhm.
then when you're in a forest, it's a complete opposite. So I think
Yeah.
it's like I rely a lot on like the fog to kind of help me see compositions and stuff like that. But it's something that I'm really kind of hoping to do this next month before the summer comes, and then it's kind of
Aye.
sunrises are just too early for me. So
Yeah, exactly. Now I think forest photography is one of those that, or woodland photography. It's like you say, it's when you go into like a forest, it's so chaotic that your eye doesn't really know where to like look or focus on, and I think the chances you find in that kind of minimalist look, it's basically like finding a needle in a haystack. Really, it's just there's no chance. But then on the other hand, you maybe can't see through all the mess like a good composition, if you know what I mean. So no, I get that as well. It's one of those that when it's raining or it's a bit grey that I tend to maybe go out like at the bottom of the Eildons or something, and it's kind of you're just walking about, like,
I
just
know.
fiddling.
Yeah. And then I always end up just like getting out my telephoto lens and like zooming into like a petal on the ground, and then that's. I feel like I always cheat myself out of it. So,
Yeah,
but it's
no,
something I definitely want to work on and stuff. So there's a guy called I think his name's Simon Baxter or something. I always watch him
right,
on YouTube, and he's like he pretty much specializes in like woodland photography, and it just makes it look so easy. Like he seems to just like plonk his camera down. He's like, right, moves a few things and stuff, and then like
yeah,
everything kind of makes sense. Whereas like with me, just like branches are all over the place, and yeah, it just for some reason it just doesn't suit my eye. But it's something like I really want to learn. So
yeah. So like you see obviously when you do go out, like whether it's in woodland or not, but you've got all these photos and you maybe only like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or what have you. But is there sometimes that you forget about the other, say, 200 that you take, but then in like a few months' time you might actually look back on those? Do you ever do that? Do you ever look back on old photos and think, oh, actually, no, that one's really good, or do you just discard all of them and
it's so bad. I just delete everything.
oh no.
It's so stupid. Like I've got no space on my laptop, and
uh, get a hard
like yeah, I
drive.
know I run it off my hard drive, and then I should just put all my pictures on it because, like you said, you come back to things, but like I have like a collection of like SD cards and stuff, and like I'll never look at the pictures again. Uh, and I'm bad for like deleting things off the back of the camera, which is like the biggest sin because like it
Yeah,
doesn't look, yeah, like what you see on the camera, especially with my little like Nikon, it's
yeah,
it looks nothing like what it would when you have it on the computer. But I am trying to like take my time a bit more and kind of
mhm,
not like just keep rapid firing my pictures and
yeah,
like spend a bit more time checking the edges and stuff and trying to get it right and within like a couple of frames instead of like firing off like 20 images and then
yeah,
hope one of them are good. So like I'm trying to take my time a bit more and then but yeah, I think I need to buy a new like hard drive and just like just save everything and then like
yeah,
yeah like a couple of years time kind of look back once like my editing skills get better as well and then kind of go back and just see if like I can rescue any of my kind of my images. So
yeah. No, I think like don't get me wrong, I'm the same as you. I just save them. Like, it's kind of like I never really look back on them. It was only recently that I think a couple that I put up um, were from like a wee while ago, and I've still got ones from like the snow and that from maybe March or February, whenever it was that I've not even put up yet.
yeah,
That I still need to put up, and there'll probably be ones there that at the time I didn't think were anything, but I might be able to save them.
yeah.
But yeah, it's I suppose it is for the amount of photos that you probably do take, the amount that you're actually happy with is like such a small percentage. Yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
just
definitely.
it
I've
is.
actually I've actually invested in a film camera as well, just to like yeah to try and stop me from doing that. So I
That's
I
this
think
is
I'm
no
like
word of a lie, right? I've literally like eBay for the last like 2 weeks,
yeah
constantly just looking at film cameras, and just because I want to, because I obviously started out with kind of your mirrorless and that, I've kind of just leapfrogged that. Maybe like it's I feel like it's an easier route what I'm doing, if you know what I mean. Like I don't know enough about kind of the earlier stages of photography, so
yeah.
I was like, nah, I need to invest in one, and I've just been looking. Like, I've not bought one, but that's quite funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah, no, yeah, just it's something kind of it was random. Like in my work, a member kind of gave me one
Right?
just to try and stuff, and I was like, because like I mentioned I'd done a bit of photography and stuff,
Yeah.
and then so like, I bought some film for it, and I've not actually had the chance to go out with it yet. And then
Cool.
I was like you, I was just kind of like kicking around on eBay and stuff, and then one popped up, and then I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty good. A little bit more modern as well. Like it's got
Right.
like a built-in light, like a light meter and stuff.
All right.
So so I bought that because like yeah, like for me, I would have no idea like what like how to set up, kind
Yeah.
of like. Um, but yeah, just kind of like just take my time, do my photography a bit more. You only get like whatever it is, like 30 shots on the
Yeah.
film and stuff like that, and so yeah, it'll be interesting. So yeah, we'll have to meet up and go out with our film
I
cameras.
know. No, that sounds class. It's just something that I don't know if you've watched it before, but I don't know if you've got Sky, but I've started watching this world. I think it's like Master of Photography. That's what it's called.
Yeah, I've
And
seen a couple of
it's-
them. Yeah, yeah,
Have you seen it?
yeah. I've seen a couple of them, but I think I saw like old series of it.
Yeah. So like I've started. I'd watched like series 4 or something, so I went back and started watching right through, and it's kind of it's just seeing like the challenges that they get, and it's kind of thinking like they obviously get the film cameras and different scenarios and what have you, and it's kind of it makes me think, right, well, what about if I sort of limited myself to going out and just photographing black and white, or like with a film camera, or just like I can only take 30 shots, like you say, or just something like that. I think
Yeah.
you'd maybe just start uh, just thinking about it a bit more.
Yeah. I know.
Um,
I just kind of hope that like I don't set up and stuff, and then I'm like, it doesn't really work out. I'm like, I wish I had my actual camera with me and stuff. And I think when I first start, I might have to have like both cameras like side by side, just to like to make sure I
uh,
still get the
I
because
do,
the like conditions are amazing and stuff. But
yeah. No, I get what you mean. It's like I would probably be like that as well, and it's kind of I suppose the other way of looking at it is there maybe be some days you'd think about going out, but then you don't. So it's kind of like, let's just say you only went out with a film camera. Like, would it really matter if you didn't have your other camera? What you get on that day, you might not have got with your other camera. So, like, I went out, I think, just with my 50mm once, which I never ever do. Like, I never use it. I just use my kit lens because obviously it's got a little bit of zoom. But um, I went out with my 50mm and I was just like, I struggled, don't get me wrong, but it just made me think a little bit more. And then when I got home, I wasn't really that disappointed that I hadn't got anything, just the way it goes. But you just kind of sort of limit yourself, just from, I don't know, the luxury of having everything, if you know what I mean.
Definitely. I've done something similar. Like a month ago, I went out with my 10 to 20 millimeter on, and like I never do kind of like wide angle stuff.
Yeah.
But it helped me a bit, kind of look for different like compositions that I never usually see, and I always think I'm fairly lazy, and I just like throw on like the 70 to 300, and then next time I'm zooming in, like I don't move my feet, I just literally turn around and like zoom into different things. It's so bad. So it forced me to walk around a bit more and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'd love to get a bit lower as well, and
Mm-hmm.
try and find like some things in your foreground a bit more. So
Yeah. No, that sounds decent, eh? Because like I've just from doing these, like speaking to people and that, um, it's just made me think a little bit more and just kind of maybe trying out like newer things or newer kind of styles of photography, like sport photography or astro, like just, or even just portraits of people, like just totally getting out of that sort of comfort zone. And I kind of, it's definitely something that I want to try. And like, I know it'll muck up my Instagram if I start putting portraits up or thing, but it doesn't really matter, eh? Like, it's what I want to do. So is that anything that you've thought about doing, like completely away from landscape, or are you quite comfortable doing landscape?
I know exactly what you mean, and I'm the same. Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like I've kind of fallen into a trap of just getting pretty comfortable taking like very similar pictures. And for me, I'm always like scared to put stuff on Instagram and things because I'm just
Yeah.
like I'm gonna get slated or what if people don't like it and stuff. But like you said, at the end of the day, like what does it really matter?
Mhm.
Because I was kind of looking through and scrolling through and like the amount of boats I now have kicking around on my Instagram. It's kind of like I don't even live that close to the seaside or anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I randomly, like you said, one of the guys I actually work with uh, approached me like a month ago, and he said like my sister's actually getting married, and she saw your Instagram. She thought it was like amazing and stuff, and she's not looking for like a proper wedding photographer, but she was like, "Would you like
Yeah.
to come like take pictures and stuff?" And I was like, I turned it down in like a heartbeat.
Oh,
I was like, I can't take pictures of people. Just like I don't want people just staring at me taking pictures. And like I kind of regret saying it at the time.
yeah.
But
What,
like
is she married already?
no, she's getting married later this year and stuff.
Well,
But I was
get back on the phone, get it
I
done.
know. And I just don't know. I just don't know if I'm confident enough to do it.
Nah,
So
no.
like I'd learned so much from like kind of that experience and stuff. But like my
Yeah,
biggest fear was that like my gear will let me down because I only have like entry level stuff. So like
yeah,
anytime it's like low light, like I stand no chance. And then I'd hate to like let them down.
yeah,
Whereas like, a lot of time with my photography, like it's only me, so like, I don't sell my stuff. I don't do anything like that.
yeah.
But then like yeah, like every time you try something new, you learn something. So like the other last week, I tried to like photograph the supermoon, and it was like an absolute disaster. Like I was standing in like a middle of a field in Stirling. I like composed like the Wallace Monument and everything. I was like, I'm all set. And then like, I had like my photo pills app up and like trying to see where the moon was going to be. And
Yeah.
then like within like 10 minutes, it was like blacked out with just thick cloud. And I was like, right, it's all right, it might pass. Like 2 hours went past,
Oh
and then
god.
it finally appeared like right above the monument. I was like, oh, perfect. And then I completely forgot that you can't like get it all in one shot because like it was too windy, so the clouds were moving. The
Yeah,
uh, the moon was way brighter than the like my main subject and things like that. So it was like an absolute disaster. But like I'd actually left and I'd learned like a couple of things
mhm,
and next time I'd have to kind of like bracket and things like that. But like if I hadn't actually put myself out there and tried like some like kind of like astral moon photography and stuff, then
yeah,
I'm going to learn these things. But I'm not ready for the wedding photography just yet. It's
yeah. Nah, like although I'm saying go and do it, I'd probably be the exact same. Because Ailey that I spoke to, she's done wedding photography, and I was asking her for like some advice and stuff, and because I don't know, it's just the pressure, like you say, it is just sometimes too much, and you kind of maybe it's just a confidence thing, really, because anyone, like, I don't really think gear is probably the issue, because anyone can really take a good photo with like any camera, really. I just think that it is just that whether you muck it up or not, pretty much. Because yeah, it's such a big thing, and especially on a day like that, it's kind of, they obviously want like good photos. Which I have no doubt that you'd take, but it is just like you say, it's kind of, you'd probably be kicking yourself if you missed like that opportunity or that scenario at the wedding, or it's just, I don't know, it's not for everyone, and I'm in the same boat as you. I think it's definitely something I think you'd probably want to do once you've got that wee bit more experience or confidence, or
Yeah, definitely. And
yeah,
your first time trying anything like that is always going to be like
that,
a nerve-wracking thing, but you'll probably learn a lot from it and stuff. And then if you get the chance to do it again, then you've kind of learned from your mistakes and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of taking that first step. So
nah, you're right. Do you want to put your light on?
I'm gonna ruin your like your video here. It's just getting darker and darker. I know I should have been more prepared. I should have like a consistent light source.
Just speaking to no one.
I know the video started so promising, and like this, like, it's just got darker and darker. So
Well, to be honest, I don't know if it's good having a light on, because all you can see is it just bouncing off in my head. It's so ridiculous. But hey ho, it's the things you do.
people are just gonna be watching this video, and if you crop it, I'm just gonna be sitting in the dark, and then they're like,
I don't know.
so,
Nah, well, it's one of them. It's not a professional setup, so I wouldn't worry. It's good that you'd think about trying obviously other things, and like you say, going out and taking photos of the moon and that. It definitely, it teaches you more going out, and just even if you don't get that photo, but you going out at night time, you kind of understand your camera that a wee bit sort of better than you maybe would previous to that. So nah, that's good advice.
that's probably my best advice. That's just
Nah,
get out there and use your camera. That's
you've gave plenty. That is it. Like, it kind of, all the people I've spoke to, that's pretty much all they say. So I might as well just stop this channel now, because it's kind of that's the best piece of advice. Just get out and take photos. Don't sit and listen to people on YouTube.
I just, like, I need to like listen to my own advice a bit more and just like anytime I go out in my car and stuff, just take my camera with me. The amount of times I've been like, I've seen something on the way
Yeah,
back from work or something, I've just been like, I wish I had my camera with me, and just kind of force myself to get out there a bit more and stuff, and
yeah. No, you're
get away
right.
from perfect conditions and like the perfect this and perfect that. So
I know. Like, there's so many times that, but then the other side of that is like when I've taken my camera with me in my car. Like, let's say I go to work and then I finish work and I'm leaving, and just the conditions are amazing. I'm like driving about like a lunatic, like trying to get like, oh, there's a single tree there, or like, oh, that road looks, it's an S curve, like going about 100 mph, like off the road and everything. It's not a. Aye, sometimes it does have a positive, like a sort of advantage, but there's a negative to it as well.
yeah, I definitely prefer being like at a location like well before sunrise, kind of like taking my time
Yeah,
setting up, kind of making sure I've got everything ready. Because yeah, the amount of times I find myself like running around like flustered, just
yeah,
when I come home and I realize like I've had my camera like on the wrong settings, or
yeah,
something I've done's kind of mucked up the picture. And yeah, I definitely like I guess that's why I like kind of like landscape photography, because you can just take your time a bit more and
mhm,
like find your location kind of well before the like kind of like the perfect light and stuff.
yeah.
And like to me, I kind of enjoy that bit, just kind of taking my time, just even like having a seat, taking in my surroundings a bit and stuff, instead of like getting flustered and like you said, like driving from like one thing to another, and then
Yeah,
uh,
it's definite. Like photography is such a like you're gambling like a lot of the time because you are just relying on like the conditions, and there's so many times that like I'll be walking up. Let's take the Eildons for instance. I'll be walking up there. I see a bit of orange in the sky or pinks or what have you, and it's kind of getting to the top, buzzing, like absolutely buzzing, and then get my camera set up, and then it just comes to nothing. It's like what? It's just so like soul destroying. But that's well, I suppose that's why you go out the next day or the
yeah,
following week, because you're always trying to get that perfect shot, and sometimes you never do.
yeah. Another thing is like make sure like you stay there even once you think the sun's gone down. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I told you that story once before.
Aye, I said it
Uh,
on the previous
yeah,
podcast.
I'd literally been up to Maya and Stirling. Like I was like all set for sunset and things, and then like the sun came down, and it was just like there was nothing happening. And I was like, right, I'm hungry, I'm going home. So like halfway down, like I passed this other photographer, and he's like, you're going, he's like, you're going the wrong way. It's going to be an incredible sunset. And then yeah, literally, I was like, "Ugh, this guy's just talking rubbish." Just
Yeah,
I kept up and down, and then like within 5 minutes, like the sky was orange and stuff like that, and I wasn't going to run back up the hill and stuff. And
nah,
there's been so many times I've done that. I've kind of left and then instantly regretted it because like the best light sometimes comes like well after sunset or things like that. Or like
yeah,
like be there for sunrise and then I think the sun's already up and stuff. And then next thing you know, like some clouds will catch behind you and things like that. So
yeah.
yeah, definitely like, kind of stick it out. It's
No,
don't
totally.
like, run on to your next thing and stuff. So
Yeah, because I think a lot of the time as well, like I think people chase those like the pinks or blue hour, like golden hour, what have you. But it's kind of like, especially you could be 2 hours after. Like obviously, if you've got the time, if it's before or after work, then you're pretty much screwed. But like if it's if you've got loads of time, you could be spending 3 hours in somewhere, and just even in daylight, like the light just catches something that wasn't like that half an hour ago. And I think yeah, a lot of people like I'm probably the worst culprit at doing it, just giving up and just being like like, I've been here 2 hours and I've seen sunrise and that's me. But then you could miss something. But then at the same time, you can't just be chilling outside for like 10 hours trying to get like the perfect shot because it might never come. But nah, it's definitely worth staying. If you've got an extra half an hour, anyways, just see what you can get.
no, definitely. I've regretted it a few times, so I've kind of. I always say to myself as well, right? Learn from your mistake there, and like make sure you stick it out. And then every time I get hungry, I'm like, I have to go. It's,
uh, food's the most important.
yeah, I know. Mate, I'm gonna have to put a different light on. It's so dark.
The silhouette man.
We're gonna have to film this again another time. So,
Nah, it's funny. It adds to it. It adds to it. It's cool.
there we go.
That's better.
Right, nice to
There
meet you.
it is. Start again.
That's it.
In the future, where do you see like your photography going?
So like for me, like I would love to sell some prints. Like I've had a few people message me on Instagram and things like, "Oh, I love your photography. Can I buy a print and stuff?" And I always panic. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I just don't sell them and stuff." But yeah, like I'd love to do that, and like yeah, kind of I'd love to kind of run some workshops and that if kind of get to that stage, and it will always kind of just be like a hobby.
Yeah,
Like I don't really want to make it like a business and stuff like that because
yeah,
like sometimes it can sort of kind of like suck the fun out of it a little bit and stuff, and I just enjoy it. Like I play a lot of sport and stuff, so
yeah,
for like me, like photography is kind of like a good way to kind of just get out and just it's amazing. Just like the places I've been since
hmm
I've had a camera, like I always feel like it's a bit weird and stuff, but like I'll go and explore like a forest and stuff, and like I'd never do that before, but because I've got
yeah,
a camera, like it makes me like it seems like it's an okay thing to do.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely, I'd love to kind of like if I could teach some people like what I learned, kind of like what I've done with you and stuff, and although I'd have to like definitely work on my teaching skills,
Nah,
But
nah.
yeah, no, I'd love to be able to kind of like run workshops or something in the future, and yeah, definitely. I think the next step would be kind of like setting up a website, maybe like advertising prints and stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe not selling them straight away, but just kind of like putting some more of my images out there instead of just like this tiny little image on Instagram. So,
yeah.
but what about you? You got any plans or?
Um, to be honest, quite similar to yourself. I think that it's mostly like a hobby and just something that, because obviously I've stopped playing football now, it's kind of, it's one of those that it's now like the other maybe obsession in my life type thing that I enjoy, and it's definitely something that I don't want to ruin by maybe like thinking about taking it that way. And obviously I love my graphic design, so it's kind of like I'm doing what I love anyways. So
Definitely.
it's it's just an added extra that I've like managed to find something else that I enjoy. But nah, I think I don't know. It's definitely something that I wouldn't want to ruin. So I think yeah, just keep it as a hobby and just go out and explore more places. Like you say, I've been to so many places that I'd never been to before, and that's just in Scotland. And like even walking, like it sounds ridiculous, but I've never been on so many walks in the last like 3 years than probably my whole life. So it's nah, it's definitely got so much kind of like upside taking up photography. So nah, pretty much similar to yourself. I can't really see it being like a full time thing. I think maybe if you went to uni or college or something when you were younger and it was kind of basically what I done with graphic design, go to college and then get a job doing it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more a hobby, I'd say.
And yeah, like you said as well, kind of like you see like the best parts of the day as well. Like
Yeah.
growing up, I don't think I ever saw like a sunrise and
Nah.
stuff. And then with my camera, like I've seen some of the most incredible mornings and stuff like that. Like that morning we had at Bamborough as well. You seen like the sun come over the horizon at like 5 in the morning. It was just like it was like one of the coolest things. So
Yeah. No, I remember. I remember that, and I remember saying to you at the time that I don't think I'd ever seen like the sun, like obviously not there below the horizon, then come up like fully. Like I don't even think we took any sort of photos at that time. It was more like we literally just stood and watched it, and it was just. It was amazing to see. Obviously, it sounds so ridiculous because it happens every day. But like, it was just I don't know. Like, it's obviously not once in a lifetime because it happens every day, but it was just so sort of special to kind of
just
just
yeah, a bit more and
sit
stuff.
back and watch it.
Definitely.
But nah, yeah, you're right. Even just things like that, you'd probably like if people get up to go for a run in the morning and they're out when it's sunrise, they don't see anything like that unless they're obviously running on the beach. But it's so many things that I've seen, and obviously yourself seen that you wouldn't have probably have seen if you didn't take up photography. So
No, definitely.
no, it's got loads of benefits, and that's why, like, one of the reasons I've started this is that I'd hope somebody that has nothing to do with photography sees it and just thinks, actually, you know what, I'll go out with my phone and try and catch a sunrise at the top of a hill somewhere or at a beach and just sort of take it in instead of, yeah, just I don't know. There's nothing wrong with sitting in your house because I obviously do it as well, but just the odd time it's nice to get out and about and take photos.
No, yeah, definitely. Like I looking back at my old photos, I had no idea what I was doing with my camera.
Yeah.
Like if I was to go back to that situation, like the settings would be completely different and
Mhm.
things. Like one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken was my kind of like my blue boats, kind of like well before the sun
Mhm.
was rising at Loch Rusky and stuff. But
Yeah.
looking back, like my settings were wild. Like the shutter speed was like 8 seconds and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd just bump up like the ISO, kind of like open the aperture a little bit more just to speed that up because there's like
Yeah.
a bit of motion blur and things. But at
Yeah.
the time, I was like, I'd watched a video. I was like, everything has to be like ISO 100, like f8, like use the best part of your lens. I was like, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And stuff. And like, I didn't really know what I was doing and stuff, but
Mhm.
it kind of like every time I took a picture like that, it kind of inspired me to keep going out and things like that. And
I totally get what you're saying. It's kind of, I don't know, it's, you've obviously got that photo that you're completely happy with in terms of you obviously got it, but then there maybe was ways that you could improve it, but at the same time it makes it that, like, it makes it yours. Like, yeah, it might not be perfect, but I've got plenty of photos that I'm not happy, like, in terms of maybe the settings I'd picked, but that you've captured something and you obviously like it for a reason. And I just think, I think there's more in that than there is in sort of worrying about getting the settings and all of that right. It's more just being there and sort of in the moment and like capturing that. Because yeah, like my favourite photo that like I've taken obviously is the one with the bubble at the Scots View,
yeah,
and that was on my Lumix. That is like 16 megapixel, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had like my Sony now and I'd have the right settings, and but I'd probably never get that photo again. So it doesn't really matter. And I've printed it out now, and it's like a wee sort of A5, like just tiny, but like I don't need it to be across a wall like type thing. So
yeah,
it's, yeah, there is. I get what you mean. It would be nice to obviously have the perfect settings at the time and maybe cut out that motion that you're talking about. But I don't think, I wouldn't beat yourself up about it. It's
but
still a
like
quality photo. So
the moment was just like amazing and stuff, and
yeah,
it was the first time I'd ever been there and stuff, and first time kind of like shooting blue hour as well and stuff. So like looking back, yeah, like I wish I'd done a few things different and stuff, but like I'm so
yeah,
happy with the picture, and kind of that kind of kept me, kind of like inspired me to keep going out and stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of, I can't do anything about it now, so I may as well just enjoy the picture. So
Exactly. No, you're right. It's well, you can maybe send it over, and I'll put it up on my plain wall. But nah. Sorry, last question, and don't just say that photograph that you've taken, but better. But what would be your, like, if you could only take one last photograph, what would it be?
that's a hard question. Um,
Take your time. I can edit out the awkward silence. It's fine.
it might be a while. I just have to be, oh, it's funny you asked that. I know straight away. Uh, it's funny. It'd probably be so. I always remember one of my favorite pictures that I ever took, like with when I first got my camera, was the sunset at Durness.
Right.
So it's like kind of there's like a little walkway that went out and stuff. And at the time, like I had the complete wrong settings and things like that.
Mhm.
And but it was like it was such an incredible place. I remember taking the picture and looking at the back of my screen and being like wow, I've nailed photography. Like so, like yeah, I think I'd love to kind of go back up there and kind of sort of like change a few things in the composition and stuff. But yeah, it was. I guess it's kind of like it was one of the first moments that I realized like wow, like I'm actually getting better at this thing and
Yeah.
stuff. So I think yeah, if I had to take one last picture, it'd probably be there, and it'd kind of like be like the start of my photography and the end of my photography. So
It's almost like this the full kind of circle, eh? Like you say, it's probably the moment that you kind of realise that I'm actually not too bad at this, and it's that's, I like the story behind it.
yeah, it was just kind of like the first photo that really had like meaning to me and stuff, and
Yeah,
kind of made me realize like this is something I want to get better at. So yeah, I think my last photo would be kind of like the same place, and yeah. What about
that's,
you?
oh me. Um,
You've probably been asked this question by like seven other people now. So
nah, only one actually. But yeah, it's probably just the Scots View one that I've taken. I just, it's kind of like because it's got so much meaning to myself, and it kind of, yeah, it just, it's not perfect in the way that, like I say, with the settings and stuff, and I'm not going to get it printed massive because it would probably show up too much too much sort of crap in the image. But it's just, yeah, caught the right moment, and I just thought from there, if I get anything like else, like I'll be happy because I've got that. So yeah, it's already, like, don't get me wrong, there is obviously other things that I'd maybe like to photograph and that, but in terms of like something that's got meaning to me, I would say I've kind of already got that. So yeah, that would be me.
Yeah, definitely. Something that means like that much to you and stuff, then
Yeah,
it's hard to beat. So
nah, totally. So nah, that's a good way to end.
it's but no, yeah, thanks for having me on. It's
Nah,
no, it's good. Like and I'm pleased like you reached out to me that one time. So
I know. Well, so am
it's
I,
been good to kind of
because like obviously, like this wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have found something else instead of football. Definitely, it's something that obviously has brought happiness again, sort of into my life, and it's don't want to sound too cringe or that, but
like yeah, the kind of like the way you've kind of reached out to other like Instagrammers and stuff. It's kind of made me realize like maybe I should do the same and like try and meet up with some people and learn stuff from
totally
them.
just go
Like
for it. Like,
I never would have done that before, and just kind of again post my one picture on Instagram like every like 6 months, and that'd be
yeah,
me.
but then I don't think there's anything wrong with the whole posting like once every 6 months, like you say, or once every 2 weeks, whatever. I don't think, like, I wouldn't get too sort of hung up about that. I think it's more about like maybe the enjoying it, and it doesn't matter if you post on Instagram. Like, I've not posted for a wee while now, and I'm not really bothered. I just think it's just getting out, and whether that is with people or not, it's just being out there and sort of experience your surroundings and taking it all in. That's the main thing. But yeah, don't. It's always nice when I see you pop up on Instagram, because you always come sort of back with a decent photo. So it's always worth waiting for.
Bit of pressure on my next picture then.
Exactly. Uh, but nah, I'm sure it'll be sound. Have you got a few lined up or not really?
Not really. Yeah, I've been out like a few times the last couple of weeks and
Yeah.
stuff, but I've just been so busy. I've not been able to kind of look at
Yeah.
kind of like the pictures I took and stuff. So no, I don't think I have any world days, but
Yeah.
there's a couple of okay ones. So we'll
Yeah.
see. But
Nah, I'm sure they'll do well. And plus, like, I don't think it really matters if you get 50, 500 likes. Like, what does it matter really? As long as
definitely,
you're happy with it, eh? So,
yeah, 100%.
yeah. Right. Well, thanks very much for coming on.
No, that's absolutely fine, man.